So this example 4 here is going to work like that one I just did in the last video, except for part B. So skip part B, just try to do A and C. So it's going to work just like that last one. So look at that example 3 and give it a shot. So go ahead and hit pause, work through A and C, then hit play again, and we'll go over these. All right, let's go over them. Remember, I have to write my ordered pair. When I'm starting, it's worth $120,000. After 8 years, it's worth $25,000. So I am going to find M using these points. And my answer should be negative because it said depreciation. Depreciation means negative. And then again, remember, if you're given a 0 up here, if you're given when X is 0, then the shortcut is you're given B. That is the y-intercept. So I've got my equation. I'm going to come back to B. Down here at C, I told you to try that one. I'm going to plug 6 in for X because our time are going to be our X values because time is independent. How much the car is worth depends on the time that we've had it. So I just type that in my calculator to get 48,750. Now back to part B. We haven't done this yet, and that's totally okay. You didn't need to know how to do it yet. That's why we're going to go over it now. The domain are the X values. So I'm just going to come up here at the top, and my X values are 0 and 8. So to write my domain, we write it in interval notation, like we did back with the inequalities, the greater than or less than. And I'm going to use those brackets that we used before. So bracket 0 to 8. All right, let's look at example 5 here. Example 5 is going to give us a cost function, so we don't have to find it. I'm going to go back to that idea of those marginal costs. We haven't used that one yet. Remember, the marginal means the slope because we're dealing with lines. So our marginal is going to be the slope because every time we make one more product, we plug in a bigger X, we get out a bigger number from that slope. So the marginal cost per tablet is my slope, so it's $160. The fixed costs are going to be the other costs. The fixed costs do not change. So it doesn't matter how many of those I make, it's always $650,000 because there's no X there with it. Now we've done total cost before. The total cost, we're just going to plug in $10,000 for X. We're going to type that in our calculator. It's a huge number. Oops, that's a 5. So $2,250,000. That's the total cost. Remember, average cost, again, going back up here, the average cost is where we divide. So I plugged in 10,000, so I need to divide by 10,000. So I'm going to take my answer from above, and I'm going to divide it by 10,000 to get an average cost of $225. And what that tells us, if we take all the costs combined, the fixed cost plus the marginal, and spread it out evenly among the tablets we're creating, they would have cost me $225 per tablet. Now, some of that was the beginning cost, that fixed cost there. So every time I make a new tablet, just one more tablet, it only costs me $160. That's what the marginal cost is. How much it costs for just one more adding on, since I've already paid for the fixed cost. The total cost includes those fixed costs, as does the average cost.